Something that's with you all the time, but you probably never think about, and it's actually, well, it's pretty small. I'll give you that hint.
Smaller than small. We're going microscopic today, talking about the human microbiome.
The microbiome. That sounds a little intimidating. To be honest, I don't really know much about it. It's something I should be worried about.
Not at all. It's actually incredibly important for our health, especially when it comes to our skin. We're talking trillions of bacteria, fungi, viruses, all living on and in our bodies.
Trillions. Okay, that is a lot.
Yeah.
Maybe a little worried.
But think of it this way. They're not just hanging out. They're actually working hard to keep us healthy. They're like our own personal army of microscopic helpers.
Okay, I'm liking this army analogy. So how exactly are they helping? Like, what are these microbes doing for my skin?
Well, for starters, they help protect us from bad bacteria, the kind that can cause infections and other problems.
Right, so it's like good microbes versus bad microbes. Kind of a turf war happening on my skin.
Exactly. And the good guys, they're fighting to keep our skin healthy. They also play a key role in regulating our immune system.
Oh, interesting. So the microbiome helps our skin stay strong and balanced.
Absolutely. It also plays a crucial role in our skin's barrier function. You know that outermost layer of skin that helps keep moisture in and irritants out?
Right, the skin barrier I've heard that's really important for healthy skin.
Exactly. And a healthy microbiome helps keep that barrier strong and functioning properly.
So these microbes are like tiny construction workers, making sure my skin's defenses are top-notch.
I like that analogy. They're constantly working behind the scenes to keep our skin healthy and resilient.
Okay, I'm convinced these microbes are amazing. But how does this all connect to, the stuff we actually put on our skin? The serums and creams and all that jazz.
Well, it's a two-way street. The products we use can impact the microbiome for better or for worse. And get this, the microbiome can actually affect how well those products work.
Wait, really? You're saying my expensive moisturizer might not be doing its job because of these microbes?
It's possible. Certain microbes can actually break down some ingredients, making them less effective. But on the flip side, some microbes can enhance absorption, helping those good ingredients penetrate deeper into the skin.
So it's like a delicate dance between our skincare products and our microbiome.
That's a great way to put it. It's all about finding that balance, so we get the most out of our skincare routine.
Okay, this is all starting to make sense, but it also sounds a bit complicated. Like, how am I supposed to know which products are good for my microbiome?
That's a great question. And something we'll definitely explore further in this deep dive. We'll be talking about ingredients to look for and things to avoid.
Okay, good to know. Because I'm already starting to rethink my entire skincare routine.
I think a lot of people are starting to pay more attention to their skin's microbiome, and for good reason.
It's like a whole new world has opened up.
Yeah.
And I have to say, I'm pretty fascinated by it.
Me too. And I think the more we learn about the microbiome, the more we realize just how important it is for our overall health and well-being.
I'm definitely eager to learn more. So let's dive into some of the specifics. Shall we start with how exactly these cosmetics impact that microscopic world on our skin?
Absolutely. Let's break it down and talk about the different ways products can influence that delicate balance we talked about.
Okay, sounds good. Lead the way. All right, so we're talking about how cosmetics can actually affect this whole microbiome thing. Like, is it possible that some of the stuff I'm putting on my face is actually messing things up?
It definitely is. Some ingredients can be really disruptive to that delicate balance of microbes we've been talking about.
Okay, so knowing that I'm definitely going to need some help navigating the beauty aisle, what kinds of ingredients should I be looking out for? Like, what are the red flags?
Well, a good rule of thumb is to be wary of harsh chemicals. Think things like strong surfactants. Those are the foaming agents in a lot of cleansers.
Ah, okay. So too much sudsing isn't necessarily a good thing.
Exactly. They can strip away your skin's natural oils, which can disrupt the microbiome. Same goes for high concentrations of alcohol and certain preservatives. They can be pretty harsh on that delicate ecosystem.
So basically, gentle is the name of the game when it comes to the microbiome.
Absolutely. And speaking of gentle, you mentioned earlier using jojoba oil and aloe vera gel. Those are actually great examples of ingredients that can be really beneficial for the microbiome.
Oh, really? So I'm already on the right track with those.
You are. Jojoba oil in particular is a great choice because it closely mimics the skin's natural sebum. So it helps to balance oil production without disrupting the microbiome.
Interesting. And what about aloe vera? I know it's known for being soothing.
Exactly. Aloe vera has those amazing soothing and anti-inflammatory properties, which can be really helpful for a variety of skin conditions that are often linked to microbiome imbalances.
So it's like a calming influence on the skin's ecosystem.
That's a great way to put it. It helps to reduce redness and irritation and promote healing.
This is so cool. So incorporating these natural ingredients can be like giving my skin's microbiome a little spa day.
I love that analogy, and there are so many other natural ingredients that can be beneficial too. We could talk about this all day.
Oh, I bet. But I'm also curious about something you mentioned earlier, those probiotics and prebiotics. I've heard those words thrown around, but I have to admit, I'm a little fuzzy on what they actually are.
Right, so probiotics are basically live beneficial bacteria that can be added to skincare products.
Wait, so you're telling me there's actual bacteria in some of these products?
It might sound strange, but it's true. And these good bacteria, they can actually help to balance out the microbiome and improve skin health.
Okay, this is blowing my mind a little bit. So it's like giving my skin a dose of good bacteria to fight the bad guys.
Exactly. And different strains of probiotics can have different effects on the skin. For example, some strains are known to help reduce inflammation, while others can help improve hydration.
So it's like a targeted approach to microbiome care.
Exactly. And then there are prebiotics. Those are basically like food for the good bacteria that are already living on your skin.
Okay, so probiotics add good bacteria and prebiotics help the good bacteria thrive.
You got it. And both can be really helpful for maintaining a healthy and balanced microbiome.
This is also fascinating. It's like we're learning a whole new language of skincare, the language of the microbiome.
I agree. And I think the more we learn about the microbiome, the more we realize how important it is for our overall health and well-being.
I'm definitely starting to see that. So tell me, are there any other microbiome heroes we should know about? Like any other ingredients or products that can help keep things in balance?
Well, there's one more I want to mention, and it's sort of a spin-off of probiotics. It's called postbiotics. Have you heard of those?
Postbiotics, that's a new one. Not ringing a bell.
So essentially, postbiotics are the byproducts of those good bacteria we've been talking about.
Do you mean like the stuff they produce? They're waste products.
Yeah, basically. And it might sound counterintuitive, but these byproducts, they can actually have amazing benefits for the skin.
Wow, that's pretty wild. So the waste products of good bacteria are actually good for my skin.
It's true. And one of the most well-known postbiotics is hyaluronic acid.
No way. I love hyaluronic acid. I had no idea it was connected to the microbiome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And hyaluronic acid is known for its incredible hydrating properties.
Right.
So it can really help to plump up the skin and keep it moisturized.
That's amazing. So postbiotics can be a great addition to a microbiome-friendly skincare routine.
Absolutely. And there are other postbiotics out there that have different benefits, so it's definitely worth exploring.
Okay, I'm sold. I'm definitely going to be on the lookout for those. So we've talked about the good stuff, the things that can help our microbiome, but I also want to know about the things we should avoid. You know, the common mistakes that people make that can actually harm that delicate balance.
That's a great question. And I think it's something a lot of people can relate to because, let's be honest, we've all probably made a few skincare mistakes in our time.
Oh yeah, definitely. So spill the tea. What are some of the top microbiome no-nos we should avoid?
Okay, well, we talked about this a little earlier, but over-cleansing is a big one. You know that feeling of squeaky, clean skin after a good scrub?
Yeah, it's kind of satisfying, isn't it?
It can be. But unfortunately, that squeaky clean feeling often means we've stripped away too much of our skin's natural oils. And those oils, they're actually important for maintaining a healthy microbiome.
Ah, I see. So too much cleansing can actually backfire.
It can. It can disrupt the balance of microbes and leave your skin vulnerable. So it's all about finding that sweet spot between clean and over-cleansed.
Makes sense. So what else should we be mindful of?
Another common mistake is using products that are too alkaline. Remember we talked about the skin's natural pH being slightly acidic?
Right, so we need to choose products that are pH balanced.
Exactly. If we use products that are too alkaline, it can disrupt the pH of our skin, and that can throw off the whole microbiome.
Got it. So harsh chemicals and alkaline products are out. What else?
Well, this one isn't about products, but it's still really important, and that's lifestyle factors. Things like diet stress and sleep, they can all impact the microbiome.
Really? So it's not just about what we put on our skin, but also how we take care of ourselves overall.
Precisely. It's all connected, and we'll dive into those lifestyle factors a little bit more later.
Okay, good, because I'm definitely curious about that. But for now, I think we've covered a lot of ground when it comes to the microbiome and cosmetics.
We have. It's been a great discussion so far.
It really has. I feel like I'm starting to see my skin in a whole new light.
I think that's one of the most exciting things about learning about the microbiome. It changes how we think about our skin and how we take care of it.
Absolutely. And I'm really excited to continue this exploration in the final part of our deep dive.
Me too. There's still so much to uncover.
I can't wait. Welcome back to the deep dive. We've been on this incredible journey exploring the world of the skin microbiome and all its wonders.
We've talked about how this invisible ecosystem plays a role in everything from hydration to aging, and how lifestyle choices can impact its delicate balance.
Right. It's amazing to think that there's this whole microscopic world living on our skin. But now I'm really curious to explore how the microbiome is connected to specific skin conditions. The things that send us running to the dermatologist, like acne and eczema.
That's a great area to dive into. Let's start with acne, one of the most common skin concerns out there. For years, we thought it was just a matter of excess oil and clogged pores.
Right, too much pizza.
Exactly. But now we know that the microbiome plays a significant role.
So it's not just about keeping our skin squeaky clean. There's more to the story.
Definitely. Research suggests that people with acne often have an imbalance in their skin microbiome.
An imbalance. Well, what does that actually mean?
Well, it means that certain strains of bacteria, like Cutibacterium acnes or C. acnes for short, tend to dominate in acne-prone skin.
So it's not just about the presence of bacteria, but the specific types of bacteria that are thriving on the skin.
Exactly. And when C. acnes gets out of control, it can trigger inflammation and an overproduction of sebum, the oily substance that can clog pores.
Ah, so it's like C. acnes is throwing a party in my pores and inviting inflammation and excess oil. Not the kind of party I want to be hosting.
Right. And that's what leads to those pesky breakouts.
So it sounds like we need to shift our focus from just killing bacteria to actually restoring balance to the microbiome.
Yeah.
Is that where the future of acne treatment is heading?
I think so. Instead of harsh treatments that wipe out all bacteria, good and bad researchers are exploring ways to target C. acnes specifically and promote the growth of beneficial strains.
Okay, that sounds promising. What kinds of treatments are we talking about here?
Well, one approach is topical probiotics. Remember those good bacteria we talked about earlier?
Yeah, like adding reinforcements to the skin's ecosystem.
Exactly. And some of them, when applied directly to the skin, can actually compete with C. acnes and help reduce inflammation.
So it's like introducing good bacteria to fight the bad guys right on the battlefield of my skin.
That's a great way to put it. And another promising avenue is the use of prebiotics.
Right, the food for the good bacteria.
Precisely. By incorporating prebiotics into skincare, we can help nourish the beneficial microbes and give them an advantage over those acne-causing strains.
So probiotics bring in reinforcements, and prebiotics feed the troops. I'm loving this strategic approach to skincare.
It's all about working with the skin's natural ecosystem.
But what about other skin conditions like eczema? Does the microbiome play a role there too?
Absolutely. Eczema, also known as atopic dermatitis, is another condition where microbiome imbalances are thought to be a major contributing factor.
Interesting. So how does the microbiome picture look different with eczema?
Well, in eczema, it's not just about one type of bacteria dominating, but rather a lack of overall diversity in the microbiome.
Ah, so instead of a raging party in my pores, eczema is more like a ghost town in terms of microbial diversity.
That's a good way to think about it. And this lack of diversity can weaken the skin's barrier function.
Right, that outermost layer that protects us from the environment.
Exactly. And when the barrier is weakened, the skin becomes more prone to dryness, irritation, and inflammation, all hallmarks of eczema.
That makes sense. So a diverse microbiome is like a well-trained security team for the skin.
I like that analogy. It helps to keep those unwanted intruders out.
So if someone is struggling with eczema, are there ways to support their microbiome and help strengthen that barrier function?
There are. Similar to acne, both topical probiotics and prebiotics are being investigated as potential therapeutic options for eczema.
So the goal is to reintroduce beneficial bacteria and nourish the existing ones, ultimately bolstering the skin's defenses.
Exactly.
This is also fascinating. It's like we're learning a whole new language of skincare, the language of the microbiome.
I agree. And it's a language that has the potential to change how we approach skin health.
This has been an incredible journey. I feel like we've only just scratched the surface of this amazing world.
We have, but I think we've covered some really important ground today.
We definitely have. And I hope our listeners are feeling as inspired as I am to learn more about their skin's microbiome.
Me too. It's such a fascinating and ever-evolving field.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us today. It's been an absolute pleasure.
My pleasure. I always enjoy talking about the microbiome.
And to our listeners, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the world of the skin microbiome. We hope you've learned something new and maybe even feel a little more connected to that incredible ecosystem living on your skin. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring.